So to start with, we're going to go into Canvas Workspace, and I'm using the desktop version.
You'll be able to pop hello in the group or something.
Yeah, let us know that you're watching with a quick hello. Camera's going a bit skew with.
Just about TV.
Okay, how many people have we got in the room at the moment?
4.
4. Okay. I'll leave it a little bit longer because obviously we don't want people to fall behind. This is going to be a craft along with me, so be ready to follow the instructions. Hmm?
Help.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about boxes and how we can create them in Canvas.
Meter it in.
So we're going to start off with just a little rectangular box.
They got hello to Hayley and Nita.
Okay. Hello Hayley, hello Nita.
And Sarah Lou's in as well.
Hi Sarah Lou. Have you finished off your drawers yet? So I'm just bringing in a rectangle and I'm just going to turn on my snap to grid. It's just going to make life a little bit easier. So our first rectangle is 70 by 100 millimeters. Okay, now for every shape that you create, you're going to want to create 2 of them, so a top and a bottom, or a side and a side. So to do that nice and easily, you're just going to press and hold Alt and then click and drag your box down. Okay. Now I've just popped in a thinner box, so this one is 100 by 50. And again, we want 2 of those. Hopefully you're all with me so far. And finally, we need to add a glue tab, so we're going to use this shape down. Actually, let's go for this one, this shape just here. So it's like a squished hexagonal, and you want to do it so that it has an even number of squares so that we get a nice easy snap to point for our middle. Okay, if you're struggling to do this with a snap-on, it's probably because your grid spacing isn't quite right. So at the moment we've still got our grid spacing at 10 millimeters. So if everybody can let me know when you've got that far.
Sarah couldn't find us at first.
Oh dear. Did you not put it in the group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't get dimensions, so can you do the dimensions again, please?
Okay, so the big rectangles are 70 by 100. The thinner rectangles are 50 by 100. And, hi Mum.
And Pauline.
Hi Auntie Pauline. And your glue tab measures 100 by 40. Okay, when you're ready, give us a thumbs up.
Nita says she's fine.
Hi, Mummy. So I'm just going to take a duplicate of my glue tab, and I'm using Shift to make it snap between the 45 and the 90. Okay. Then we're going to pop that in place, and we're going to line it up when it's been bob out to our bottom point here of our rectangle, and we're going to drag it down so that it lines up with this line here. Okay, now as we know that our other rectangle is the same, we can just do a copy. And just do another copy and drag it down. There we go. Okay, any questions so far? Now before I go too much further, I'm just going to create another rectangle, and I want this one, I'm just going to maintain aspect ratio just to make my life a little easier, and I want it to be 50 by 70. So that's this side and this side. And that's going to reinforce the bottom of our box. And we'll set that to one side.
Be filling this out.
Probably not in this one. Okay, with this box I'm going to take another copy, and I'm going to line it up with the, let's go for that one actually, the back. So we want it to go on our back flap because it's going to fold over the front. Okay, and then we're going to take another of these glue tabs and we're going to apply it there. And on our two side pieces, I'm just going to pop in a extra copy of our glue tabs, and that's just going to support our lid. So far so good?
Can I just say about doing the rest of the week while the week?
Yep, so we're waiting for you to be able to do that. The rest of the week, tomorrow we have a Canvas workshop, workspace even, online, beginner's workshop. So Ian will be taking you through using the online version of Canvas, right from basics to importing designs and scanning. Then Wednesday we're doing envelopes. So that's custom envelopes to any project, including using the onboard envelope design with the scanning cup. Then on Thursday we have two streams. The one in the morning is the maintenance masterclass, so basically how to look after everything scanning cut, whether that's your mats, your blades or the actual machine itself. And then in the afternoon we have a scanning masterclass. Now what we've said about the scanning masterclass is it's a really good idea if you do the maintenance one in the morning too, because we will be talking about cleaning your scanner. Okay. And then finally on Friday we have a mixed media session. So we might be cutting some stencils, or we might be doing a bit of layering. We'll wait and see what takes my mood that day. And that's a 2-part stream, so that starts at 11, and then we have another session at 2.
It's all up on the group, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all up on the group and it's on our main page. Okay. So now hopefully that you're all at this stage, I'm just going to go through and just going to stretch that one over the top. Will make sense when we come to weld it together. So I'm going to try where possible to avoid having any issues when moulding. So we'll try that. There we go. So that's the first bit of our box welded. Sometimes it's easier to do it in groups, because then you can see where things are going wrong. Okay, now we need to weld our panels together, and this is usually where things go a bit wrong. So because of it, you've used snap, basically it if the lines are dead on, it won't weld. So we just need to put something on to stretch over the top. So in this case I've just added an extra square, and so long as we have those selected we can weld them and it sorts the issue.
Barbara.
Hi Barbara. Okay, so we'll try the next one. There we go. And finally, that's it. Look, that one doesn't work, but that's fine. So just drag another square in, select the 3 and weld. Okay. Let me know once you're all there, and I can show you the path tool. Any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I will tell you through that. So what size box will this make roughly?
So this is making a 50 by 70 by 100mm box. So 5 by 7 by 10 centimetres.
So 5 by 7 is your base size, and then it's 10 centimetres tall. Just checking.
Okay, so I'm going to presume that you're all ready and you're just being really quiet. So what you want to do next, before you do anything else, is turn off your snap.
Save.
Yeah, save. I will do save as, just in case actually. So I'll just go it 5 by 7 by 10 cm box. Making my poor Mac go mad over here.
Okay, nature is there.
Okay, so with the snap turned off, you will notice that your tool, because I'm using the path tool, so press P, you'll actually see it starts to snap to points that you already have on your mat, which is what we want for this bit. So you're going to click at this top left hand point, then you're going to move your mouse down to here. And click. then we're going to go across to this point and click, and then up to this point here and click again to finish your line. Okay, at this point we're going to set it to a dashed line. I go for the one with the tiny dots and lots of space, and we can set it to draw. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question about how to use the path tool to join your dots as well. It's exactly the same technique. So rather than going between each individual dot, you go from end to end and then take out the dots underneath. Okay. Then we're going to go do this tab here, and again. So click, click, and click again to finish the line, and set it to draw. And finally this point here as well, because this will fold. So click, click, and click again. And we can do the same for our side folds as well. And before we go too far, I'm just going to group all our score lines. Make sure they're all set to draw. So I can call that score. And if you have the embossing set, you can use that to score your lines, or you can use a nail art tool in your, or embossing tool in your universal pen holder. And we'll call this one here main box. And we'll group that with our score line. And I'll call that one bottom. Now let's put cut on that too. And save. So that's the first style box that we can make, and it's a good one to get started with. Then we can start to get a bit more fancy. So just let me know when you're all saved and up to this point, and we'll start a new file.
See what you're doing with the grouping and stuff because of where you put your camera.
I'll quickly move that down there.
You can't see down, there's nothing much down there.
Yeah, I'll pop it down there, that's fine. There you go.
I've just noticed that when you're doing the layers and stuff, you can't really, because your camera's sat in that top corner.
Yeah. So far so good?
Yeah, I'm just watching you move the...
Is everybody ready?
Go for it.
Okay.
Remember, people are very quiet today. And boring is concentrating.
If you're doing it, you need it back on the screen at any time, just shout and I will put it back. So this time we're going to work in the centre of our map outwards. So we're going to start off by creating the base of our box as a solid shape, and then we're going to build up the sides and then finally to the top.
This is all okay. So.
Okay, cool. So this box will eventually end up being on the 45 degrees, but it's easier to create it 90, then twist it and then finish off the design after. So I'll take you through and you can do it alongside me. So I'm going to start off with a square bottom, and you don't want to make this too big because I'm going to do something that's slightly different.
What size do you make that now?
I am going to go to, I'll put it on edit and people can see me doing it. I think I'm going to go for a 5 by 5 centimetre, so 50 millimetres.
And Hayden's there as well, so the two ladies are crafting along the quarter.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to add that rectangle, which is 50 by 100. So as before, every side has its equal opposite, and on this side we're going to rotate it. And so far so good.
The live stream's just catching up.
Okay.
Carry on if you want. Put the rectangle on the live stream.
Okay. So this is where your path tool is going to come into its own. So I'm just going to turn off Snap to Grid again. And you're going to join your points. Okay, press P again, and we'll do the next side. Press P again, do the next side. So far so good?
Why did you do all four sides on that one, not just across the one line? Why did you do the three sides of the triangle and not just the one line?
Because in a minute when we weld it all together, if you just did it as a line, it would just stay as a line, it wouldn't weld. Yeah. Okay, but we don't want to weld it just yet. Don't run ahead too far.
No, I was just asking you.
Okay. Yep. So I've just added in another square, which measures. Hang on. There we go. Turn the snap back on. That's why it's struggling. So turn your snap back on, and then we're going to do it so it measures to the centimetre. There we go. Close enough. Hello, Sharon. So we have that one, and then we're going to duplicate it across. So basically you want this to sit so it is at a 45-degree angle to the fold. So there. Ah, yes. Yes, everybody give Sharon a nice clap for me. Yeah, she's a healthcare worker and she's doing a brilliant job. She's doing something I can't do. I lose my rag with my granddad, something chronic. My mum would agree. So, what you're going to do is work around each triangle, and we're going to subtract the square from the triangle. So far, so good? Yeah, any questions so far? Give me a thumbs up when you get to that point. I just don't want to go running off ahead and lose people on the way.
Thumbs up.
Okay. So next we're going to go to our path tool. And remember to turn your snap back off again. And we're going to go from the point of the, well, what was the square that's now your inside point, your triangle. Click. And to the point of your tip of your triangle. And click again. Okay. And you're going to do this on each of the 4 sides. What?
Yeah, you need to put all okay, I hope.
You make me nervous when you laugh. Okay, so those are our score lines. Okay, so now we're going to start to weld all of this together. And if it does that, that is okay. It's just saying that, meaning that the lines are on top of one another. Don't panic at this point. Now, because we've got a 45-degree angle, sometimes this one takes a little bit more playing with. Sometimes the best way of doing it is to actually play with our nodes. So if you click twice, not double click, but click twice on a shape, you call up your nodes. So what you want to do is click on your corner node so that this line turns blue, and hopefully when you get add, it puts a point in there. Okay, at this point you take that new point and you drag it across. Okay, can you just give me a thumbs up to say that you've seen that? I don't mind repeating it if you need me to, because I'll have to do it down here anyway. Just do that. So I'm just going to click on this one over here, add a point which is up at the top, click the new point, drag it down. Okay, once you've done that, we can click off it and try and weld again. If it still doesn't do it, then we're going to have to sort out the little point in there. But again, that's no tricky. Nope. So we're just going to drag that into there. There you go. Don't worry about these score lines just here, just yet. We can pop those back in after. Okay, so then you want to go around, you want to do that to each shape.
Neither likes the way you think.
It just comes from working with these things day in, day out. I mean, if you were doing it in any other vector program, you would not have to go to this level of faffing with it, to be honest.
Given that Canvas is the...
Yeah. But for most people, you'll start in Canvas and then you'll eventually migrate to something else. Either shortcuts a lot, or Affinity, Illustrator.
Okay.
No, Inkspace.
Inkspace, sorry, that's the one I was thinking of. It's the photo one, isn't it?
Inkspace, Inkscape. I always get those two.
Inkscape,
Yeah, dyslexic. I didn't know it. Okay, and finally this one. And finally the square in the middle. There was always going to be one, wasn't there? It's because that bit there. So just drag it out. Oh, come on, be nice. Do it that way first then. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. More than one way to skin a rabbit. Okay, at this point we're going to go back to our layers. Just going to group those because I don't want them to move. Going to lock those and lock this base layer.
Everybody catch up.
comments or questions?
Hayes just says she has shortcuts a lot, but not sure how to use it properly yet.
Okay.
That could be another day to.
Yeah.
And so does Nita as well. They both have shortcuts a lot.
Okay.
But they might benefit a tutorial if we can.
Yeah, if we can.
Version.
Yeah.
You can get a trial version, can't you, for a bit?
Yep.
Just to do a video with.
Yeah. I'll also pop another tutorial up on Affinity as well, and Illustrator. Okay, so I'm going to presume that you're all ready to go. So I'm going to pop another path in that's going to go like so, and click again. Okay, so we've come along here to the end of our 45 degree and then back up to the outside, and we're going to do that on each side. So click, click, click and click again. Is everybody keeping up? If you're getting stuck, just let me know, don't give up. I'm here to help. And finally, up to this point. And draw. Okay. Finally, we have our middle section, so we're going to go from point to point to point to point to point, and that creates a closed shape, so we don't need to do the final click. And again, dash and draw. So with all of these, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it into the group. So far so good. Yeah.
The stream's just catching up.
Okay, so next I'm going to make a bit of a fancy box for this one. So we can, yeah, it's all grouped. Well, on the final. So I'm just going to pop in another shape onto one side. Then I'm going to select all, so that's Control A. Just make sure your locks are off before you do this. So Control A or Command A if you're on a Mac. And group. Then we're going to take our handle at the top, press and hold Shift, and twist it on the 45. Now if you wanted to create like a open topped box or vase, you could stop here. But we're going to turn this actually into a little box.
There it is, as you're just watching now, squares won't subtract. So we'll do it after the line.
Squares won't subtract. What's it coming up with when it says it won't subtract? If you let me know, then I can talk for it a bit.
Okay, there's a delay between you.
Yeah, I'm being patient and waiting.
I don't know how far behind she is. So she's...
Okay. The squares
If
of
it
tracking
comes
was
up,
well
I'll
ago.
tell you. Yes.
Okay, I'll carry on for a bit then. So I'm just going to make sure that my snap to grid is turned off for this bit, because you're going to want to be able to move things freely for this next section. So you're going to bring in a square, and you want it so that it is the right size to go point to point.
Do you know what size?
So it is 35.4 on mine. Okay. Once you have your square and it's the right size, you're going to come on, be nice for me. You want to move it so that it stays in line with that point, but slightly out. This is so that the tabs of your box overlap.
Area selected objects include open paths or intersecting paths. Does that mean she needs to make sure she's done the full triangle and closed the path on each of the triangles?
Yeah, just make sure your triangle is closed, and just look at the edges of your triangle and your square where they meet. Just make sure that there's a nice clear break between the two. So when I did my square came out a little bit from there and then back. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that across. I'm going to select the two because I want it to be a nice even box, and then we can go to edit the line and the line to the top. At this point you can see with this one whether it's quite in line or not, so you can just use the right arrow to nudge it, and then we can press and hold shift and click the other one, and then you'll see that your centre line should line up with your centre point of your box. Press and hold shift and drag down to duplicate it. Oh yeah, it's okay, I'm thinking shift, because then if you change the pressing shift halfway through, it will lock to doing it vertically. Okay.
Alt first to duplicate and then change to shift to keep it straight, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So for now I'm going to lock my base group and hide it, and I'm going to lock those. Okay, and I'm going to go to my path tool. Now the squares that you've set up are just a guide, so I'm going to click a point in the middle here, click again, and that's because I got snap still turned on. Oh, don't be dense. No, snap's not turned on. Okay, it's just going to be happening on off day. Let's unlock that then, just so I can call those up. So, into the middle. And it's going to be dense, come on. There we go. And we're going to go up to our point here, back across here, back to our point here, and back to there. Okay, then this square here, get the right one, we can delete out the way. So I'll repeat that again around each side. So click, 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 delete.
Make it a select what I want to delete.
Nearly. And path to that point there, that point there, that point there, that point there, to that point there, and I'll take that one out. And just for now I'm going to pop that one back out the group. Okay, and we'll go through and we'll weld them one at a time. Okay, one down, 3 to go. There we go. Okay, and you just want to check that there's no little snaggers in your design at this point.
Need to say the path tool is great.
The path tool is great. It's not infallible, but it is great. So if you see something like that where there's a few too many nodes going on, just get rid of that one. There we go. And same over here. You can just use backspace to take out the node. You don't need to go up to the top to go. And down to the bottom and just check down there. You never want there to be any nodes that don't need to be there. Yeah.
each mark that your blade makes is marked by a node, so if you have lots of nodes in a small space,
Makes your machine judder and sound noisier than it needs to be. Can also be a cause of chipped blades over time if you do a lot of one particular design. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to finish off with our final score points. So remember, you're doing this at the base of your new shape.
it is alright.
Hmm?
It's up to 5 to 12.
Yeah, I'm just conscious of time today.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so hopefully you should now have a file that looks like this. Okay. So this is 5 by 5 by 10 centimeters, and this is a strong box because basically each of those tabs is going to reinforce the sides. So much so that you could actually cut it out of pattern paper if you wanted to, and then just reinforce this front panel with some acetate. Okay, and just let me know when you get to that point.
Are we going to do another one later when we've cut them out just to show?
Yeah, well, what I will do is I'll cut them out later and I'll actually pop them up as a photo on the group, maybe. Mind you, I suppose that one could do with a video for assembling, so yeah, I'll do a video with that later. It'll be later, so probably more like sort of, yeah, 6-ish. Okay, just let me know when you're ready. I'm going to go to template maker next. Yeah.
You start intersecting with loo and feet, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. So finally, let's start another new document. And if I go into my internet, I can go to Template Maker. Now if you want to get a bit more into your 3D projects, Template Maker is a brilliant place to start. So what I wanted to show you fairly briefly is how we can actually use one of their templates as a starting point for a design. So I'm going to go for, let's think, what do I actually need to use? Let's go for a matchbox. That'd be quite cool. And what you do is, first of all, choose your units. So you can do it in millimeters, centimeters or inches. And let's go for another 50, shall we? Keep to the similar sort of sizes. And we'll go for the material thickness is basically when you get into designing boxes with lids and things like that. you need to allow for the thickness of the card that you are using. So I'm just going to take that down a little. Okay, and leave the clearance at 2. Then when we go to create, up it pops. So you can then save that into your downloads, or I'm trying to think how I did it last time. Let's see if it'd be good enough to copy it. You never know. Nah. Couldn't be that easy, could it? No.
Just popped up.
So I'm gonna save as. Into the wrong place. So I did 5 by 7 by 1 matchbox. So if we go into our Finder and go to our desktop, it's not going to save it's the right file for me today. Ah, why does it always do it when it's live? Come on, be nice for me. Export it to PDF then. Right, and if you want to work with PDFs, you're going to have to use a different program to either convert it, or you can just trace over it in something like Affinity Designer or Illustrator. I'm just thinking, given time today, because I don't want to interfere with other people's videos, I might do another stream later with this one. Yeah, so join us at about 6 and we'll do another stream. Okay, and I'll see you later. Bye.